What's up, family? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Realtalk shouting. You're now tuned into another video. Thank you for coming back and joining the channel. In today's video, for Testimony Tuesdays, the topic is going to be fail forward. Yes, guys, fail forward. Now, you may be saying, well, what does that mean, right? Well, to fail forward means to not be afraid or scared of failing. Just think about that for a minute. You know, when Michael Jordan first started playing basketball, do you know what they told him? They said, you're not tall enough, Michael. Michael, you're not good enough, Michael. Michael, you don't jump high enough, Michael. And if Michael would have believed that, if he even would have listened to that and received that, he wouldn't be one of the greatest basketball players in the world, in world history. So, in the beginning, things are not going to look promising, especially when you're starting out with nothing. When you start out with nothing, you have to build yourself up to something. So don't ever think that being a winner means you got it right the first time, or being successful means you got it right the first time. No, that's not how it works. And if anybody tells you that, they're a liar. And the truth is not in them. Because anyone who is great, anyone who has made history, will tell you numerous stories on losing, on failing first to get the win. See, I'm going to tell you, when I was doing sales, back when I was like 19, I was the district manager of T-Mobile. We had two locations. We had a location in South Lake Mall, and we had a location in Cumberland Mall. And what my CEOs would always tell me, they would tell me, Rashard. Well, that's my name, so I just told y'all my name, but it's cool. My name is Rashard, and but I go by Realtalk Shouting on YouTube. So he used to tell me, Rashard, you got to get the losses out the way first to get to the win. If you don't get out there and get those losses out the way, how are you going to get to your win? You got to take a few L's first. I remember one of my partners, man, on the south side, he used to say, man, you put two L's together and it makes a W. See what I'm saying? So you just got to be able to take those losses on the chin and keep moving. Because in reality, the losses aren't really losses. The losses are there to give you a lesson. It's there to teach you. It's there to develop you. It's there to mold you into the winner that you desire to become. So don't ever think for 1 minute that just because you see somebody in their prime season or at the top of their game that they were always there. That is not the case. Even if you see it on television, social media, what have you, of course, nobody is going to glorify the bad days or the not so good days or the lonely nights or the early days that they get up and continue to strive to work, to continue to put in work, even though you may be failing, even though you may not be where you desire to be, but you're one step closer. You're one step closer to your destiny. You one move away from your destiny. But for some of us, it takes more to get us closer to that move than it does others. So just don't be discouraged, family. Today I can give you all a testimony about how when I first started my first company. All right, I'm back. I had a phone call to take. But yeah, guys, don't ever get discouraged, man. Don't ever get discouraged. If you see me now, I'm a prime example, a living example of what it means to not give up. I have not had a cookie cutter lifestyle. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. So don't listen to none of the rumors, the he say, she say, Don't listen to none of the stuff that you may hear about individuals until you get your own experience. Don't ever go off of hearsay. Because people will, first of all, create a reality about someone that they don't even know, first of all. And then second of all, they will associate everything that they think they know about a person as the truth. But that's rarely the case. So to go back to my testimony, I remember my first company that I started, it was back in 2015. I started a landscaping company called Clean LLC. And that company did well for about 2 years. And just a rule of thumb, anyone who starts a business or becomes a business owner, it takes 3 to 5 years to become successful within that business, depending on what industry you're in, what lane you decide to take. But any business requires at least 3 to 5 years of hard work and dedication, and sometimes losses to see your first win. So, last night I was at an event and a gentleman approached me and he asked me, man, how do I get where you're at? How do I do what you're doing? And everybody's walk is not going to be the same. Everybody's steps and the moves that they take to, get where they desire to get to is not going to be the same. We're all not going to have the same journey. However, my advice to that brother was just start somewhere. Start somewhere. Because you may see me now, but this isn't my starting point. This is like me operating as an entrepreneur for like the last, 10 years. And even though I've had multiple jobs in between my entrepreneurship, ultimately, I've always had a side hustle or a side business or an idea to do my own thing. So even in the workplace, I considered myself an entrepreneur. Just learning how to do a particular business until I get it down packed to where I feel comfortable enough to invest my own money into it. So that particular landscaping company that I started in 2015, it only lasted me 2 years because I didn't have enough money saved up at the time. My credit wasn't built up to withstand the responsibility of running a full-time company solo. No help, no partnership, no, sponsors. Just me working, saving money, investing in a business, starting an LLC, buying business cards, and just doing my thing. It's that easy. So I just wanted to come on here to tell you guys, don't get discouraged. Don't look at people that you see on the internet or in real world reality and think that their lives are just, so abundant and prosperous. Therefore, you think your life's supposed to be abundant and prosperous just like theirs. And it is. However, you have to work yourself to that point. You have to develop yourself to the point to where you can start to see the fruits of your labor. And then those fruits will continue to add up and add up and add up. So my advice to anyone on Testimony Tuesday is just start. Just start somewhere. Even with YouTube, this is going to be probably my third or fourth business venture. And, my views don't go viral when I post a video, or I don't get hundreds of comments when I post a video. I don't get, likes on videos immediately because I'm just starting. So I can't expect these things to come overnight. However, a lot of things do happen to you overnight. It's just based off of, the amount of effort that you're putting into it and who you're associated with and who you surround yourself with. Because I'm going to tell you another thing. If there's 5 people in the room, or if there's 4 rich people in the room, you're going to be the 5th. If there's 4 optimistic people in the room, you'll be the 5th. If it's 4 pessimistic people in the room, you'll be the 5th. Meaning you become like your environment. So anybody who's desiring to grow and to prosper and to become greater in life, whether it's in your personal life, your finances, your spiritual life, relationships with your friends or your family or your loved ones, you have to control your environment. But the first environment that you must control is the environment that you have ultimate control over, which is you. Your environment. The environment within yourself. That is what we all have ultimate control over. So before you start looking outside and pointing fingers at everybody else, the very first thing that you can change about your environment is you. And I believe once you take that first walk, that initial step, everything else is going to fall in place. So my particular landscaping company only lasted me 2 years and I had to give up. But I didn't give up hope. I didn't give up the vision. I just transitioned from one company to the other. However, I didn't quit. I just, like I said, got out of the business before I started to lose money and realized that it was a easier way. It was a better way. It was a more efficient and effective way to become successful other than landscaping for me at the time. So after my landscaping company, actually before the landscaping company, I had a record label. I started a record label. And my idea with that was to, sign local artists and push their music. But of course, learning now what the industry is all about, I gave that up because that wasn't something that I was interested in doing in terms of doing the things that's required to be a part of this modern day music industry or entertainment industry or what have you. So I transitioned from that company and then started the landscaping. Then transitioned from the landscaping, right? Well, I worked for a trucking company before I bought into a trucking company. And, I'm continuing to transition. Now I have a management company. So it's not about trying to get it right the first time. It's about taking your licks and walking with it and learning from your mistakes, learning through your experiences so that you can elevate. As long as you're elevating, you're going to continue to grow. And as long as you're continuing to grow, you're going to bear fruit, especially if you're putting the Most High first. See, another reason why a lot of things fail individuals is because they have a desire to prove things to other individuals, which means now, you have to do things completely on your own so that you can get the glory and say, oh, well, I did this or I did that. Man is only capable of accomplishing but so much. So if you really truly have a desire, a burning desire to be great, to be your greatest version, you're going to have to tap into a higher power. The power that creates worlds, planets, people, animals, nature, elements. Because we are just one piece of the spectrum. We're just one piece to the puzzle. But when you contact the creator of the game, the creator of the puzzle, you don't have to focus on what pieces you're missing. Just focus on the developer of the puzzle, and the developer will show you what pieces you need to put your puzzle together, so you can see the real picture. So I don't want to make this video too long, family. I'm out and about handling business, and I just thought I'd do this video for Testimony Tuesday in regards to failing forward, not being afraid. Fear does not exist. You can accomplish all things through faith, especially when you are seeking the kingdom of heaven and all of its righteousness first. Everything will be added unto you. So family, I hope this video has been inspiring to you, and I hope it's been edifying. You know, I always like to close out or to pull up a scripture. So I'm going to get a scripture for you all really quick on persevering through trying times. And I could basically give you a story on how Christ had to persevere through his 40 days and 40 nights of fasting. So right now, family, you might be in the wilderness. Right now, you may be going through your wilderness experience, especially if you're, jumping out and starting something new, whether it's a family, whether it's a business, whether it's a spiritual journey, anything that you're doing, a new job, that's going to be your wilderness experience, because it's something that you don't know what to expect. So that's considered the wilderness. So we're going to speak on how Yeshua was tempted in the wilderness by the devil. Let's go to Matthew 4, and we're going to read chapters 1 through 11. And it's going to be the New International Version, only because YouTube is a global platform, so I would like for all walks of life to get something out of this video. So in Matthew chapter 4, verse 1 through 11, it states, "Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, 'If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread.' Jesus answered, 'It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God.'" Verse 5, "Then the devil took him to a holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. Verse 6, "If you are the Son of God," he said, "throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." Verse 7, Jesus answered him, "It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Verse 8, again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. Verse 9, "And all this I will give you," he said, "if you bow down and worship me." Verse 10, Jesus said to him, "Away from me, Satan, For it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Then the devil left him, and angels came and attended him. Now, that biblical scripture is very, very, very revealing, especially in the days that we're living in now, because this is what a lot of us go through every day. Temptation, mockery, people who saying, oh, you worship God, well, why you going through this? Oh, you serve Jesus Christ, well, how come your life is the way it is? Well, you got to understand something. First of all, the same way that Satan took Yahshua up on those mountains and told him to cast himself down, right? Or after his 40 days of fasting, he told him to turn the stones into bread. These people are just trying to get you off your square. These people are just trying to manipulate your mindset to get you to think like them. But don't do it, because the Most High is developing you for something greater. The same way when Christ said, man shall not live on bread alone, but off of every word that comes out of the mouth of God. That means you shouldn't put anything over the living word, because the living word is eternal. Even in Genesis, it states, in the beginning there was the word, and he spoke and said, let there be light. And light manifested. So don't ever put yourselves in a position where you're only looking at things from a carnal mindset. Because to be carnal is to be of the flesh. And there's nothing wrong with identifying with your flesh. Just don't allow it to take over you. Because we are two parts, flesh and spirit, with a soul. So, again, family, apply this particular scripture to your life when you are feeling tempted to give up, when you are when you are tempted to throw in the towel. Always remember how Christ was tempted to do the same thing by the devil when he was going through his wilderness experience. So there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing that Christ hasn't already accomplished. So there's nothing that Christ hasn't already conquered. He's conquered everything. So nowadays in this world, it's all about what lifestyle you desire to live. And if you desire to live for God, if you desire to live for Christ, you are going to be tested. You are going to be tempted. But do not allow that to discourage you. Allow it to develop you into a sharper, more skilled, and abundant individual. Because that is God's desire for all of us. All of his children. And I'm going to leave y'all with that, fam. Once again, this been your boy Real Talk Shouted. Thank you for tuning in to the channel for Testimony Tuesday. I'm about to get back on my grind and finish up handling business. And I will get at y'all on our next video. Glory be to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Shalom.